Hey everybody, welcome to the final regular season episode of 90 on Peachtree. My name is Corey Knapp. I hope you all, just like me, have had a wonderful week celebrating the Atlanta Braves World Series championship. And we're going to spend a few minutes away from talking about the Braves, is what we've been doing all week, what I will continue to do throughout the rest of the weekend, parade tomorrow, etc. We're going to talk a little bit about Atlanta United today. They are still making their push for the playoffs. Nothing is set yet. They could have clinched it last night against New York Red Bulls. They didn't. They did get a solid draw. So Sunday, everything is up for grabs for the Five Stripes. And remember, all of our Atlanta Sports Unlimited videos are brought to you by Prize Picks. Don't know about you guys, but ever since I started reading these, I've been getting these personalized Prize Picks ads on my phone, on YouTube, wherever they are. So they hear me. Hopefully you guys hear me too. You know the drill. One of the easiest sports games on fantasy sports games on the market. It's very simple, and you can win up to 10 times what you deposit on any entry when you pick 2 to 5 players. And when you use the code ASU for Atlanta Sports Unlimited, Prize Picks will 100% match your initial deposit up to $100. So last night in New York, a 0-0 draw against the Red Bulls. It was kind of meh, or really meh, if we're being honest, but Atlanta United is still in good position, and New York Red Bulls was in a more desperate position, and Atlanta's never won at New York Red Bulls. Really, they've only beaten them one time in that electric playoff game in 2018, but sometimes meh can be good. Not great by any means, but good. And for Atlanta to go into New York to shut out a team that had been one of the hottest in the MLS, winners of 5 of their last 6 matches, and really desperate. I mean, they were below Atlanta United before the match last night in the standings and really needing that 3 points. So to come out of that match with a clean sheet, with a shutout, and with a point is a very solid performance and kind of a playoff-esque performance from Atlanta United last night. And so that brings us to the regular season finale on Sunday. Here's what Atlanta United has clinched so far. And here's what Atlanta United has to play for on Sunday. Everything. Their playoff lives, seeding, potentially a home playoff game. Everything is on the table against Cincinnati, one of the worst teams in MLS, and Atlanta needs to take advantage of that kind scheduling and an easy opponent. And Gonzalo Pineda said they have to respect Cincinnati. They have to treat them like any other team. But really, Atlanta United, this is a match they need to dictate and they need to control from the first kick. The Five Stripes will clinch a playoff spot with a win, with a draw, or with a loss by less than 8 goals. So let's hope for the first one of those. And then we'll see what happens. This team can still play a home playoff game and secure that. The teams in the Eastern Conference are so jumbled up after New England that, I mean, the difference in points earned on decision day is going to create a lot of movement. Some teams could drop out of the playoff race. Some teams could jump into hosting a playoff game like Atlanta wants to do. And so they need to go into the game. Hopefully it'll be all systems go. Hopefully we will see Joseph starting. And I think that was in Pineda's mind when he brought Joseph off the bench last night against New York and gave him about 25-30 minutes because he knows he wants Joseph from the jump, and that front four, that BAM front four, like Kevin and I talked about last week with Barco, Araujo, Moreno, and Martinez, wants them all ready to go, be on the front foot, get an early goal or two, and then you can start to settle in, control the rest of the game, and see it out and clinch your playoff spot. You don't want to get into 0-0 at halftime. You're struggling, you make a mistake and give up an early goal, then things will get tight, and then the team will have to climb uphill. And that's just something you don't want to have to do, especially against Cincinnati, a team you know you can beat, and a team that's ready to go 1-2-3 Cancun, honestly. Also, we haven't seen Santiago Sosa in the last 3 matches. It would be a huge boost if Atlanta can get 45 minutes or so from him on Sunday, whether the first 45 or the second 45, just to be a stabilizing force, as well as to just get him back into kind of the fold and the rhythm of things before the playoffs, so that his first game back isn't a high stress, really demanding playoff atmosphere and kind of playoff pace. And we have seen Atlanta go on the road before in the last game of the season with a lot at stake, and it didn't go well. We all remember in 2018, they had a chance to win the Supporters Shield at Toronto and laid one of the biggest eggs that team laid all season. Obviously, it led to Tata's tactics overhaul that ultimately allowed the team to go on its MLS Cup run. But, ooh, that was ugly, and we don't want a repeat of that. Obviously, Toronto in 2018 is a very different team than Cincinnati in 2021 right now. But Toronto ran them out of the building in that game, and Atlanta was never in it from minute one. It needs to not be like that. And hopefully the players on Atlanta's team, not too many of them left from that 2018 team, but they'll have that experience, and they'll be making sure that the start Atlanta has in that game in this game on Sunday is completely different than what they had in that game in 2018. And sidebar on that supporter shield, how about Jeff Lorenowitz on the broadcast last night? Absolutely destroying the supporter shield. My man said, who can name the last 5 winners of that? Not me. So it's clear the MLS Cup is still destination and priority number 1 among fans and players in the league, and needs to stay that way. And I'll finish up today talking about one thing I mentioned briefly at the top of the show, how Wednesday against New York and how Sunday against Cincinnati are basically playoff games. Essentially, they'll be playoff-like atmospheres. At least New York was. Cincinnati may or may not be, with them being out of it, but they'll be playoff-like games, kind of low scoring, cagey. And Gonzalo Pineda had a really good quote after the match that said the football needs to improve from the team, but the mentality I liked. And that's a good sign going into the playoffs, which hopefully Atlanta is able to clinch on Sunday, but that the team is in a good place. They appear to understand and know the type of games and the type of mentalities that they're going to need to have to win playoff games. And it's not just going to be go out there and do one thing and don't change and don't adapt or whatever, but they're going to need to adapt to the environment. They're going to need to adapt to what the other team is doing, to what they're doing. They're going to want to play their game and enforce their will as much as possible. But they're in a good space mentally, knowing what it's going to take to win these games as they get bigger and bigger. And that's a great sign to hear from a manager heading into the final game and final stretch of the season and a potential playoff run afterward. Alrighty, that's it for me this week on 90 on Peachtree. Everyone enjoy Decision Day on Sunday. May the points and wins go in your favor and in Atlanta United's favor. Next week, we will be back, hopefully talking playoff soccer, not hopefully talking about any offseason stuff. Hopefully be talking about maybe even a home playoff game too, depending on if all the results around the league go Atlanta United's way on Sunday. But keep the main thing. Beat Cincinnati, and Atlanta United will be in good shape regardless. You guys can catch me at the parade on Friday. Hope to see plenty of you all there as well, and we'll have some fun once again cheering on our wonderful World Series champion Atlanta Braves. And we will see you next time on 90 on Peachtree.